They pushing on more lanke every day. Now so bread and water.
Good morning and welcome. And to those of you who are watching us from other parts of the world, good afternoon and good evening. So I'm Gail Moutry, I'm with Steelcase, and on behalf of both Microsoft and Steelcase, thank you for being here. We are really excited about what we get to show you today. And we're actually really excited about the fact that there has never been a better time to have to go to work or to want to go to work. And yes, work today is fast-paced, and it's competitive, and it's frequently disruptive. But at the same time, it's creative, and it's collaborative, and it's so technologically advanced. And the technologies that are driving these new ways that we're all working are actually also the technologies that are driving us to think about new ways of creating places. Places that are probably more human than they've ever been. And that's what we want to talk to you about today. We want to talk about the new ways that we're all working. And as we work in these new ways, there are new rules that are emerging. So it's not no rules. It's just new rules that are based not on structure and hierarchy and process as they've been in the past. But these are new rules based on the ways we all want and need to work today. So to tell you more about that, I'm going to ask Jim, our CEO, to talk about our perspective on new work and new rules.
Thanks, Gail. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Steelcase. We're glad to have you here. I'm going to start by talking about why we're having this conversation. So I get to talk to customers every day. I'm with CEOs of a lot of our customers every day. And I thought I'd start by talking about why CEOs care about this sort of a thing. So what CEOs care about is driving shareholder value. In order to drive shareholder value, historically, it's been all about process. How do you improve your profitability, drive more, better profit margins on the bottom line? But what CEOs are finding now that it's more than just about driving bottom line profitability. In order to have sustainable bottom line growth, you have to have top line growth. And to have top line growth, in the old days, you could accomplish that through inorganic acquisitions. Now you have to think about synergies. And as you think about synergies, you have to think about synergies for the acquired companies, but you also think about innovation within your core business. It's not enough anymore to just hire 500 people in Palo Alto to build an app. You have to think about reinventing your business from end to end. So CEOs care about shareholder value, they care about growth, they care about innovation, and they know as they're practicing this that innovation's hard. So innovation's hard for lots of different reasons, and it starts with people. So the first conversation we have with CEOs and with C-suite and with really every client we serve these days is about talent. How do they attract talent? How do they retain talent? How do they inspire the people they have? And we're in a very tight job market these days, so this is often where these conversations start. Beyond the talent themselves, it's also how do you get people to work differently? So it used to be in the process days all about individual work, but now it's about teamwork. So you have to encourage your people to begin to work more in teams. This requires a shift in culture. And so culture is another conversation we're having with the CEOs of the clients we serve. Okay, so people, that's one important part of it. But then there's also technology. Technology in every form, including cloud computing. This is, again, not just a matter of putting your products on the internet. It's a matter of transforming your business, digital transformation from one end of your business to the other end of your business. Again, this is super hard. And that relates to how you engage with your clients, but also the technologies and the tools that your people are using to do their work. So how do you embrace these new technologies? How do you shift the culture of your organization so that no one is left behind? Everyone in your workforce becomes technologically enabled. The third aspect is process. So in the process-based companies, we know about things like Lean and Six Sigma and total quality management. And companies like Steelcase and really all the leading companies we work with have embraced those process changes over the last 20 years. But now there's new processes that are around innovation. Processes like design thinking. Processes like Agile that got started in the world of software development, but now Agile is being used across these companies, from the accounting department to the sales organization to product development. So you've got challenges around people and talent. You've got challenges around adoption of technology. You've got new processes to learn. And then you've got space. And unfortunately, a lot of these companies are working in spaces that were optimized for the old way of working around process efficiency. And as people try to practice these new processes, as they try to adopt these new cultures, as they try to adopt new technology, they're finding that the space is a bit of an anchor. It's holding them back. And yet space has an opportunity to accelerate these changes. So CEOs want to grow, they want to innovate. Innovation's hard. We learned about a lot of this by encouraging a team of people inside Steelcase who are already working in these new ways, using these new technologies, embracing team-based work. We asked them to hack their workplace. We gave them kind of a wide open space that we had abandoned. And we gave them all kinds of artifacts. And they could buy any other artifacts they wanted. And if they wanted custom things built, we built the custom things. We just wanted to see what would happen if they could hack their workplace, make it whatever they wanted to be. And it was fascinating. We also went out and visited our customers, many of whom are doing the same sorts of things, adopting these new agile practices, adopting design thinking, allowing their teams to innovate in space, sometimes moving into open warehouses. We went out and studied how these teams are hacking their workplace. And we put all these insights together and came up with kind of 3 big ideas that I want to share with you. This is the first one. One big idea about the future of the workplace is a shift from fixed to fluid. Now, fixed, when I talk about fixed, clearly in today's workplaces, legacy workplaces, the architecture, the furniture, the technology, everything is supposed to stay where it is. And that included the people until about 5 or 10 years ago. Today, people have become fluid. They're moving around the space. Sometimes they have unassigned offices, so they can work wherever they want. But for the most part, the furniture is still fixed. What we learned when we watched people hack their workplace is that everything went mobile. Everything was fluid. Not just the people now, but the walls, the whiteboards, the furniture, everything was moving. And it created problems. So when everything's moving, you have chaos. You have some things that aren't built to last and put up with that kind of stress. So although this is a good idea, we also realize that we haven't provided the tools that people need to be able to work in this new way. So fix the fluid was the first theme. The second theme is about what we're calling the me within we. So everyone knows we're shifting from individual work to teamwork, right? And yet, we're hearing a lot from individuals within teams that something's missing. They can't find a place to have privacy. They can't find a place to concentrate. If they're on deadline and trying to get an important part of their assignment finished, they have nowhere to go. The way they've been solving for this is by withdrawing from the team, working from home or working from someplace else, pulling away, and yet that creates new problems. So the second big insight is we have to remember that there is an I in team, and we have to think about the me within the we. How do we provide for the needs of individuals without forcing them to disengage from their teams? We have introverts, extroverts, people who absorb information visually, people who understand analytically. People communicate in different ways, they solve problems in different ways. And we have to celebrate those differences so that each person can work at their full potential, whether they're doing individual work or teamwork. So that's the second big insight. And the third one is about active collaboration. So if I say meeting room to you, you all get a picture in your mind of an experience that you're not necessarily looking forward to. You know, an hour-long meeting, a long table, 2 or 3 people do all the talking. It's probably a presentation of some sort, and you can't wait for it to end. Classrooms, interestingly, are like this too. Remember school where you sat in that classroom and a professor would talk at you for about an hour and you were expected to just silently take notes. What we've learned in the world of education is that students don't actually learn that way. They don't advance their knowledge that way. They learn through active learning. It's when the teacher provides content and then creates opportunities for the students to engage, and they create their own work, and by creating their own work, they learn. Taking those lessons and bringing them to the workplace, thinking about how we can move from meetings that are about presentation towards meetings that are about true collaboration. So generating new ideas, brainstorming, synthesizing, negotiating, persuading, these are the kinds of actions that should take place in these meeting rooms. Okay, so 3 different insights from hacking the space, watching how our clients hack space, led us to begin creating products, our own prototypes. In fact, the team that developed these products were using the prototypes they were building as they continued through the project. And we call it the Steelcase Flex Collection. So what I'd like to do now is share with you how the team thought about their mission, how they described the problem they set to solve, and you'll see some images of the products, and then I'll come back and share more. So let's roll that video.
You know, work used to be like this, linear. People handed it off to one another like a relay. But now, it's like this, dynamic. You see, we need to work in fast-paced teams, more like soccer or basketball. The problem is, the places we work, they feel like this, fixed. They're not made to adapt as work changes. What we need is spaces that work the way we do. That's why we created the Steelcase Flex Collection and Steelcase Roam. Furniture that moves as we move. Screens that absorb sound and signal privacy. A space that we can call home that adapts to be what we need it to be. Boards to make ideas visible that can move with us. We need spaces that flex.
Thank you. So there's a lot going on in that video. I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. So it's a collection of products, and as you can see here on this screen, it's a little bit of everything. There's work tables, there's a height adjustable desk, there's carts, there's marker boards, there's screens, and there's things I don't really even know how to describe, but I'll try in a minute. And you will see all this downstairs when you have a chance to walk through the rest of the showroom. But I'm going to come back and say, what were the three specific things this team was trying to solve? So as they set out to do this, they first said, we're going to focus on this idea of movement. Everything's in movement. Everything's moving, everything's in motion. The furniture has got to adapt on demand. We can't have to call facilities to come in and change it. The users themselves have to be able to reconfigure the furniture at the speed of work, as fast as work changes. So maybe you're working for a while as an individual, then you shift to two-person work, something we call dyadic work. Maybe you shift from two-person work to a large team. That may only go for 15 or 30 minutes, just to touch base at the beginning of a scrum, and then back you go to dyadic work or individual work. And every time that happens, you should be able to reconfigure the furniture to meet your needs. That means you're using the same artifacts in different ways. You might be moving artifacts from one space to the other, but it should all happen in a super frictionless way. So as you dive down into the products, some things we did to make that happen. Start with the height adjustable desk. So we sell height adjustable desks, lots of them. Some people ask for them on wheels. There's some pros and cons of putting a height adjustable desk on wheels. It can be less stable. It can move in times when you don't want it to move. To solve that, you lock the casters. When you lock the casters, suddenly it doesn't move when you do want it to move. Our design team really came up with an innovative approach to this. By changing the leg, it doesn't look like there's a wheel on there, but trust me, there is, and you'll see it when you go downstairs. That wheel is designed to only move in one direction. So when you pull yourself into your desk, or you push yourself away from your desk, you don't want the desk to move, and it won't. But when you want to move that desk from one spot to the other, you stand on the end of the desk and you push it, it moves like a shopping cart. It moves very easily. So the ability to move the desk and to do it in a way that's super stable. So the architecture of that leg means that it doesn't give you the sense that it's an unstable piece of furniture. Second big idea are these screens. We went out and looked at these people who had hacked their space, and their companies had bought expensive screens that were screwed into the furniture, and the people had taken their screwdrivers, unscrewed the screens, and put them in stacks on the side of the room. Because the screens they bought were sometimes interfering with their data screen, and sometimes they're just interfering with their way to talk to a colleague. So what we realized is that these screens have to be much more reconfigurable. Here, these screens are attached with magnets. You can unsnap the screen. You can have it in this mode where you have additional privacy. It's relatively high. You can flip it around, have it be lower so it doesn't interfere with the screen. You can remove it completely if you don't want it, give it to a colleague so they can have more privacy. Such a simple idea, but super important to solve some of the problems we saw with real users trying to work in these new ways. And what you don't see on here is a power cord, but there is a power cord for the desk. Cords are a big deal. You start moving furniture around and you realize it's not about the furniture, it's about all these cords. what do I do with all these cords? So cord management inside the desk, and then one power plug. You plug the desk in, and everything that's on the desk is plugged in at the same time through a power strip that we have embedded in it. So lots of small ideas. More about power is on this next slide. Again, a very simple idea. We went to these spaces, we saw power strips everywhere, on the floor where people trip over them. A simple idea was to create a hanging power system and a peg, and have those pegs everywhere. So when people want access to power, they can bring the power up to where they actually need it. And as you move the furniture around, the power goes with you. So simple ideas, but responding to these user needs. Okay, a second big theme that the team was trying to solve for is what we're calling showing the flow. This is about the movement of information over the course of a day. So these marker boards are part of the story, but you can see again, you need to have carts to store them. You need to have ways of displaying them and interacting with them and presenting them to the team. You can array your information side by side, even using information to create boundaries between spaces to create a sense of a team room inside an open space. So lots of ideas around how we show flow. And this kind of product is really important in Agile because people start their days with updates about how yesterday went, what their goals are for today, and what they're going to have accomplished by the end of the day. So a couple deep dives into this. These are, again, something that our development team did really early in the process as sort of a hack, sort of a prototype. They fell in love with it, and it made it all the way to the finish line. So these are boundary devices that provide acoustic performance, so acoustic boundaries. It's kind of hard to tell the scale. This is 7 feet high. This one's 10 feet high for these really open spaces. And by moving them, you see they're on wheels. You can grab them and move them. You can create a room on demand. Just short term, you need a room for the next 30 minutes or an hour. You pull them together and you create a room. They absorb sound. So they absorb some of the noise that's going on in the space and maybe prevent a team meeting from distracting or disturbing people who are working immediately adjacent. And they hold up these marker boards, which I'll talk about more in a second. So marker boards and tackable surfaces, again, super popular in these spaces. Lightweight boards that you can pick up and move. Lots of ways of arraying it as part of this product, whether it's these wall racks that you can install so you can slide the boards back and forth. You remove them from those. You can array them side by side. You can take them back to your workstation and array it there. Lots of ways of using these marker boards because information needs to flow as the work changes from individual to small team to large team. And then the third one is about personalization, making it yours. We found that the teams themselves wanted to create their own sense of personality, their own spirit. Some teams would name themselves something. So ways of teams be able to express themselves, and then ways for individuals within a team to also make their own choices based on how they like to work. So some of this has to do with personalization, your own personal items and how they might be displayed at work. Other things might be about your own preferences about privacy. So on privacy, and again, one of the most popular things we found in this product line are these freestanding screens. So the screens can be detached and reattached with magnets. You just pull it apart, and you can reconfigure it any way you want. The first way we saw people reconfiguring it was by building little caves for themselves. So these are the people who've been craving privacy, craving that ability to get away or to signal to others that for the next hour or two, I need to be heads down, I need to hit this deadline. By being able to reconfigure their own space, and then when they're done, those artifacts can be used by others on the team in new ways. You'll notice that the geometry of this screen is the same as the geometry of the marker board. So you can pick it up, you can use those wall racks, you can transport it the same way. Everything's really designed to be a system. So we took all those learnings from those teams, and we tried to, in every case, design it so that it can hold up and so that it actually works better than the chaos we saw. Now, there was one thing missing, and we kind of knew it, which is the ability to do with analog information, so all those whiteboards and Post-it notes and tackable surfaces, how do we now do the same thing with digital? And that's what led us to this idea of working with Microsoft on Steelcase Realm. So Panos and I had a chance to work on Creative Spaces a few years ago and Surface Hub and the way we integrated that product into our solutions. Back in those days, we were starting this conversation. From the Microsoft side, they saw the power of being able to make the technology more mobile. Meanwhile, we're doing all the research I just talked about and discovering how important it is for this specific kind of work for information to be able to flow, for people to be able to stay in flow, to move from individual to team. And everything's got to be moving. So you can see why our work and the aspirations for Microsoft fit together. And it was an interesting challenge because this is a gorgeous product from Microsoft. We knew that the stand, the cart that worked with it had to be equally elegant. So elegance was important. It had to be strong and safe. It couldn't tip over. It had to be something you're not worried about tripping over. So there's a lot of challenges in making sure we got that right. And we wanted to make sure that that product fit in with the overall vision of Steelcase Flex. So we've been very excited to have, to look forward to today and to be able to share all this with all of you. And maybe I'll stop there and ask you, Panos, to continue the conversation.
Sure.
So thank you.
Jim. I think the Flex collection itself is incredible, and you see it, you can feel it. It's incredible to be in New York. I love it here. I like being at Steelcase. You can kind of feel the environment here and how technology and an environment like this, when they come together, it helps people do their best work. You can see it in the Flex collection and where it's going. I also love something about this space and its intimacy. Like I can sit here and talk and see Daniel's actually paying attention to me, which is a good thing. I don't know that he always does. And it brings us closer together. It reminds me a little bit of Surface Book 2 launch. If some of you were here, it was a little bit more intimate. We really want you to be able to get downstairs, get in with the products, get in with the team. The product makers are here, Rolf, Stevie, Matt, Robin, Dave. You're going to meet them. They're here. Really getting into that is important to me, and I love that intimacy. But I also think this is the perfect backdrop. And as you heard a little bit just a second ago from Jim, the way we work, it is evolving and continues to evolve every single day. And it's not going to stop. It's pretty incredible. People are spending more time right now collaborating than they ever have before. This is worldwide. This is in different spaces. And it's in environments like this. Companies know this. They're embracing new ways of working right now. Today, just yesterday, and tomorrow. And they're using technology at the forefront to do that. But to be super clear, great businesses don't run on technology. They run on the power of humans connecting. Human connection. That is so important to understand. And when it's done right, teamwork is the most powerful tool for success. People. That is the critical tool. At Microsoft, we want to deliver innovation in a way that moves people forward, not just technology. People, teams, groups. For years, you've heard me talk about this subtlety of getting into your flow. It's a really important concept. I believe it. I believe it brings the best out of people. It gets to your creative self. It moves things from your mind, through your heart, out your hand, whether you're typing, out your mouth, whether you're speaking or listening. Take the subtlety and the kickstand on a Surface Pro that turns the product from a tablet to a laptop, keeping somebody in their flow, moving from one space to another the way they need to, or Surface Studio and its transformation from a desktop. And when you pull it towards you, you get this emotional sense. It pulls you in, draws you in, pulls out a little bit more of your creativity, and it becomes a canvas for you to work on, keeping you in your flow. And maybe now one of my favorites, the Surface headphones. You slip them onto your head. How amazing is it? You turn the dial, you kill all sound around you. And it's just you, your thoughts, your focus, pushing you into your flow and keeping you there. And you can do that from anywhere and on any platform in the world. Then put together the software, the hardware, the AI, and the cloud through Microsoft, and all these products that come together in one single, simple, seamless experience. This is where you find technology fading to the background. This is where you find yourself getting into your flow. Technology goes away. Now I can be a person, individual, working. It helps you be more productive, more creative. It doesn't matter where you are. But the question today today. If getting in your flow is so important, what's that look like for a team? And if the workplace is changing, how does that look for a group? And we know human interaction is critical for creation in these group settings. I'm just speaking with the CEO of Volvo. He's amazing. Håkan is amazing to talk to. He's inspiring. They're an incredible group of product makers. And I listened to him talk about designing products. It's pretty powerful, but he talks to me how he uses Surface Hub today. He uses video calls to connect worldwide continuously. They use the whiteboard to create together, then share their thoughts digitally immediately. It actually made me think about my team when we were talking about it. I remember 8 years ago, we were just 12 people in a room. We were hanging out. We worked in a room. It was pretty easy. When Jim says it's changing, people aren't working that way anymore as individuals, or we're all in the same space, it's true. And here we are. We're just 12 people. We all could get everything done in the same, but now we're a global team. It's nothing like that. We're all over the world. Yet we're still collaborating together. Yet we're still making products together. We're using technology to connect us across countries and time zones. We don't lose the personal connection. We get to see each other face to face, creating. Was listening to Volvo talk about it, and as the whole team talks about it, they're like, no, we can see each other. It was so important. That is the technology fading to the background. That's me talking about other people, not the technology that connected us, yet it is happening. This brings forward the power of the team. That's just a critical aspect. Now, we want to push these scenarios a little bit further. We want to push them for our customers. We have some incredible customers. And if you just tie that back to what Jim said, people learn and think and create. They all do it in different ways, and we have to not only respect that, we have to enable that. It doesn't matter if you're writing, talking, if that's what gets you there. Maybe it's gestures, or it's just the movements, or even as you're watching somebody else and listening to their intonations and getting an inkling of what they're pushing. Or if you're the leader who quietly just wants to take it all in, or see a facial expression. We want to enable people in groups to create the way that feels most intuitive and inclusive for them. That's so important at Microsoft. That inclusivity is critical. And if you want teamwork to thrive, it has to happen. You must bring people together through tech. Now, we are doing that. We're bringing all those capabilities together in one connected experience. As a matter of fact, I'd like you to see the next generation of the Surface Hub. Take a look. That's cool. That's cool, right? This is Surface Hub 2S unplugged. Now note, this product transforms from a static device, static, and it's what we know about big screens, to a mobile, large screen, collaborative device. It does for the collaboration device what the laptop did for the desktop. It creates that same freedom Jim's talking about that needs to happen, the adaptability that's so incredibly important. And all you do is unplug it. Think about that. Move it across the room, wherever you are, whatever space you work in, move it down the hallway, have the conversation. You want to keep your team in flow? Start your work and move it to have the conversation, have people come, gather, get together. You can use it anywhere, bringing people together from anywhere. No matter how or where they want to work, it can happen on this product, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Take a look at it. I'm so proud of the team for what they've built here. It's light, it's streamlined. You can kind of see its beauty from every angle. It's something I take a lot of pride in. You may have noticed that before. There's incredibly thin bezels, how it comes to life, 9.8 million pixels. They light up a room from any position. It's our history that gets us here. Touch and pen, it goes in and through the entire product line. We made these investments since the beginning, and now they come up here. It has all the relentlessness that you see in our Surface devices today, and they come to life in this product. We've actually taken the sensor layer of the product, and we've layered it into the display itself. This was critical because now we have every pixel integrated. It gets thinner. It's a more beautiful screen. It's got better contrast, faster response than what you saw on the first Surface Hub. And now it has tablet class accuracy and precision, but in 50 inches. Did you catch that? Everything you find, whether it's on your Surface Pro, your Surface Book, your Surface Laptop, your Surface Go, every bit of that precision shows up in 50 inches here with an incredible array mic to have great conversations across the room, a 4K camera that lights up, and so anything you want to use to communicate can happen with front-firing speakers and a subwoofer in the product to really draw you in. When we talk about technology disappearing, sound's such a critical element of that. And then you come down to the Roam stand that Jim talked about. It's gorgeous. It's quite perfect. And it fits so nicely with the product because movement is so incredible. We also partnered with a company, APC, where they reinvented a battery that hasn't been invented before to integrate in this product so we can create mobile collaboration. You put those two elements together and you've brought true mobility to the table for collaboration. It's pretty incredible. What do you think? Do you like it? I love this device. It's a beautiful. The Surface Hub 2S, it really has taken capabilities our customers are asking us for and love, and we've made them even better, and I think it's so important to identify that. Now, the people that led this evolution, they're actually here today. I want you to spend time with them, of course, downstairs, but Robin Seiler and Dave Ellis, two of the key product makers, they're the best people to show you a little bit more about this product. So Dave and Robin, if you want to come up and just, right here, Dave, come on up and we'll just take a look at this product. I'll move it back over here for you. Thanks. Welcome, Dave and Robin.
Thank you, Panos. It is an honor to be here in New York, representing the team that built this product. We've been on this journey for quite some time, and it's an amazing journey because every time you go talk to a customer about Hub, what do they say? They say it has transformed how their people work. Because Hub is the only device designed for team collaboration. Not only in the conference rooms, but any place that you want to work. Any place that you need to get something done. And with the complexity of problems that we have today, we need every diverse team to come together and solve those problems. Surface Hub is the only big screen device that lets you seamlessly launch apps while also communicating through audio and video. And many are used to doing this on your individual device today. But Surface Hub lets you do that on a large screen. Over the last decade, we've been very hopeful about remote meetings, that they would solve some of the problems that we have today when we can't all get into the same room. But honestly, they haven't lived up to that vision historically. Because true collaboration isn't just audio and video. It's promoting that stronger human connection. It's letting the full richness of words, passion, and ideas flow through. With Surface Hub, we started with the goal of bringing people together so it feels like you're in the same room, even when you're not. And we want to show you what that looks like in action.
Can I tell you I am glad we finally got to the part where we get to use the device? All right. Of course, we still have One-Touch Meeting Join, which is the feature that our enterprise and customers continually tell us that they love. So let's do that to get into a meeting.
This is the first device that reliably turned the meeting start into seconds. And as Dave said, our customers do love this. And with Surface Hub 2S, we've enhanced our remote collaboration capabilities even further.
All right, for this meeting invite, ahead of time I scheduled it and included the hub in the invite, just like I would all of the other important members of my team. But it's just as easy if you haven't planned ahead to walk up to the device and set up an ad hoc meeting directly from here. You can see all the people here. We want to see them closer, so let's look at them full screen. So now we got 4 big, beautiful faces. Because we have a greater than 4K screen, that means we can see each one of these 4 faces at up to 1080p.
So why is that important? Well, more than half of our communication is not verbal. It's your tone, it's your facial expression, it's your body language. I have a person on my team who furrows their brow when they disagree with what we're talking about. And when the face on the screen is too small, I can't tell. But if his face is about the same size as mine, when he furrows his brow, I can see it, and I can pull him back into the conversation.
All right, so Robin just talked about seeing the people on the hub, but it's just as important for the people on the other side to be able to see people in front of the hub, and there can be a group, which is different than what you regularly have on, say, your laptop. So we have a great 4K camera that has a 90-degree horizontal field of view, so when there's multiple people in front of the hub, the camera can see them all. Audio is just as important. We have these barely visible front-facing stereo speakers that have tweeters, mid-range, and as Panos mentioned, we have a subwoofer in the back. We have a 8-element mic array, that runs across the device. All of this uses the expertise that we've built up from across the Surface line, from studio, from headphones, all of the products that we've done before.
And we focus on each of these details to capture and convey the full richness of human communication. Having a meeting this way, it feels really impactful. And at the end of it, I know that I feel closer to the colleagues that I've been working with, and I was able to ensure that every individual was able to participate.
All right, I'm going to end that call.
It's amazing how important seeing and hearing is to the ability to work together. And all of this comes together on this beautiful display. To talk more about this display, we have Stevie Batish here, who's the head of our Applied Sciences team.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, thanks. I'm so proud of this screen. Surface Hub 2 screen really reaches into the future with an industry-first 92 DPI 3:2 aspect ratio screen enabling human-scale video conferencing, as you just saw. A direct illuminated backlight with local dimming, etched cover glass, and all those sensing layers integrated into the display itself affords the lowest optical parallax in its class. Ultra-wide viewing angles from all orientations, and a contrast and vibrancy that can tackle the most challenging lighting conditions in all spaces. So couple that with the tablet class pen and touch, as Panos talked about, literally integrating the sensing layers into the pixel itself, and you have truly one of the most unique interaction screens on the market.
Thank you, Stevie. Talk to Stevie about displays. His knowledge is awe-inspiring if you haven't done that before. There is another piece that is core to collaboration. Let's take a deeper look at the whiteboard. If you look around any space where people work together, you usually see a whiteboard. And if you stop and think about why that's so important, when you want to communicate with somebody else, oftentimes the ability to free-form create is so important to that conversation. Because as Jim said, some people communicate through audio, some it's visual, some need to draw and create in order to get their ideas across. You often need an instant way to brainstorm and create, and Microsoft Whiteboard gets the most out of groups in that way. It provides real-time co-authoring from anywhere, digital tools for any stage in the creative process.
All right. One of the great things about Hub, as we talked about, is you can get up and use it instantly right away without having to sign in. But of course, we also have the ability to sign in. And when Steve was talking, I signed in, and I happen to use Azure EasyAuth on my phone. We keep on adding more easy ways. Of course, you could use a PIN, you could use a password. I particularly like using the phone. Then I brought up a history of all the whiteboards that I had worked on before, where it's kind of like your browser history, but for your productivity. And I loaded one that I've been working on with my team over a series of meetings and collaborations.
Whiteboard and Hub really take the effort out of what you're trying to do so that you can focus on your creations. And when you couple that with Microsoft AI and Azure, people can contribute to that whiteboard from anywhere. And their ideas come together in real time.
All right, so to show that, I want to introduce you to Ralph Groen, who's here in the front seat. He is our head of design. Yeah, I love Ralph. I love Ralph. All right, he has his own Surface Pro 6 right now, and he is going to contribute to the whiteboard from his Surface Pro 6, and you can see it starting to show up on the hub. Up here, we've got multiple people that are logged in, and we can tell, like, it doesn't have to be just Ralph, it could be more people. And because Whiteboard is cross-device and cross-platform, other people can choose an iOS device or an Android device as the way that they choose to participate in this group session.
I love what Jim talked about when he said the me and we. This lets everyone come to the table with their preferred individual device. And that really lets Surface Hub perform the role of bringing the team together with audio, video, with your creations, and the big, beautiful screen to show that combination of everyone's work. Truly living up to its name of being the hub.
All right. Now, we know not every space you're going to go into is going to have a Surface Hub, but don't worry, we have you covered. When your meeting time is up in your other space, you should do what you're probably already doing. You reach in your pocket, you grab out your phone, you look at the whiteboard, and you take a bunch of pictures, of that whiteboard. I'm not sure how useful those have been to you in the past, but we have a way to make them, very useful. Now, Adrian is another member of our team. Adrian, can you wave to everybody? Adrian has a phone. That phone also has her signed in on Whiteboard, and she has a photo from a previous meeting that we had where we had elements of that other physical whiteboard that we wanted to bring into this digital whiteboard. So now it's great that this information is in the same place, but it's just a picture when everything else is digital ink. And wouldn't it be great if we could do something about that? So Robin just touched this magic wand UI. Isn't that great? This is my favorite. So what it does is the power of Microsoft AI to visually inspect what's in the picture and turn it into ink. And once it's turned into ink, you can do amazing things, including things you couldn't do on that original whiteboard. Like we watched Robin select only a part of it and move it. So now that you could do that, you could take the pieces you want and integrate it perfectly into the rest of the digital whiteboard that you were using. All right, so now we're done with our edits, but I happen to have two people on my team that are in the air right now on airplanes, and we don't want them to feel left out. So directly from within Whiteboard, we can post this to Teams, and then everyone in our team is fully up to date. When our work is all done, we are going to close the session to ensure that all of the information is saved to the cloud and removed from this device to keep your content secure.
So we're delivering Surface Hub 2S to meet customer needs now with a modular hardware design that will unlock new experiences in the future. Surface Hub 2S will start shipping to customers in the US in June. And from increasing collaboration through video conferencing to enabling co-creation, Surface Hub 2S is designed to be a team device that lets you stay in your flow together. Let me welcome back Panos.
So I don't know if you were watching, but we just did that entire demo unplugged. Is that incredible? So I find it pretty inspiring. The thing I need to share is I'm so proud of the team, all the work they do. When you see it coming together like this on a device that makes everything so seamless, that brings teams together, that brings this journey that we've been on together in such a beautiful way, I take a lot of pride. I think you did an amazing job. I'm so proud of that team and all the work. And what you just saw, that team consists of Windows. You see Office coming together on this device. Teams from Microsoft, Whiteboard. You see all the AI across Microsoft, and it comes to life on these products, which is so incredible, and it's so powerful for us. This product is the natural next step on the journey we've been on at Microsoft. But indeed, we have one more step in this journey to show you. Just one more. And I want to introduce you to a new product that we're shipping. This product is known as the Surface Hub 2S 85-inch, and it is absolutely beautiful. It is all that incredible tech you just saw, every single bit of it, from Microsoft, Office, Windows, Teams, Whiteboard, all the AI, all the incredible history that you get in the technology developed in Surface over that time, coming to life, and how it starts to fill a room so beautifully. At Microsoft, our mission remains to empower every person and every single organization on the planet to achieve more. We are incredibly excited to see what each of your companies will do with the new Surface Hub family. Thanks for having us today. I hope you enjoy downstairs.